Hi, today we have as our guest Michael Lamm, and he's the co-founder of Corporate Advisory Solutions, CAS, an independent investment and merchant banking firm based in Philadelphia. Michael spearheads all the member firms' mergers and acquisitions, consulting, valuation, compliance, and regulatory business practices within the global tech-enabled outsourced business services arena, and is responsible for strategic direction and growth plans. He is a frequent speaker on industry affairs and mergers and acquisition trends, and is a regular contributor to industry publications where he provides industry analysis and is often quoted for his insights. Prior to establishing CAS, Michael was a director at Culkin Ginsberg, where he provided M&A and strategic advisory services. And prior to that, Michael was a co-founder and program director of the U.S.-Israeli Business Exchange, US-IBEX, in Washington, D.C. Michael holds a degree in international studies from American University, and he holds a Series 79 investment banking representative and Series 63 uniform securities agent state law. It's a pleasure, Michael, to have you as our guest today on Founders HQ. Welcome today.
Great to be here, Alan. Thanks for having me on.
Wonderful. Well, I had a chance to kind of review, your background and so forth, and I find it interesting. You say you have a chance to travel a lot and speak at different events and so forth. And one of the things is that recently you spoke at a conference in Utah, and maybe you could just share a little bit about kind of your experience there and kind of what you touched on and so forth. Might be
so we're as you mentioned in my bio, Alan, our business is mergers and acquisitions, evaluation, compliance work, and tech-enabled business services. And this particular users conference for a big technology telephony business invited me out to speak about trends that are going on in one of our end markets. One of our end markets that we do a lot of work in is in the accounts receivable management or debt collection industry. The market there is changing like we've never seen it change because of all the technology and digital transformation that's happening in that end market. So they asked me to come out and talk about what we're seeing, what's driving those trends, and what frankly is going to happen in the future. So I pulled out the crystal ball and tried to come up with some thought-provoking things on where it's going.
So some of it, one of the things is different areas like student debt, consumer credit cards, all kinds of things. It seems to be that with sort of the disruption happening in the world and so forth, that I think it's causing some of these debts to be sort of paid, late or.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got this industry that we play in is dealing with people and businesses too that are struggling to pay off their debts, and it's not an easy world out there, man. I mean, we just talked about gas prices and changes globally. I mean, life is expensive, inflation's real, and what ends up happening is a lot of that business flows through into the debt collection industry, and they also need to interact every single day with consumers and businesses that are trying to figure out what to do. But where that world has changed is it used to be all call and collect based, Alan. So people would just pick up the phone and call you or call me and say, hey, you owe Capital One $1,000. What do you want to do about it? Now they're texting you, they're emailing you, they're chatting with you about this because no one's ever excited to talk to a debt collector. No one's ever waking up and saying, let me go talk to them today. And that's where the technology comes in. So that's, again, one of the industries we do a lot of stuff in.
What industries because you kind of have a sector that you like to really focus on. Maybe you could share a little bit about kind of like who you engage with mostly, and also a little bit about like what you because you're like there's a specific kind of bank, a merchant bank is what you called it?
Well, they call us more of an investment banker, right? So we're typically working with companies that have anywhere from, they could be as small as 10 million of annual revenue, they could be as large as 200, 300 million of annual revenue.
Okay.
But where we're different is, as an investment banking firm, we're very specialized. So we do a lot of work in the accounts receivable management space, healthcare revenue cycle management, which is a huge market, the
Imagine.
call center and business process outsourcing areas, and then all the technology that supports those ecosystems. We do M&A, valuation, and capital raise work with. And they're all changing in a variety of different ways. And it really works for us to be a specialty firm where we have this knowledge. It tends to give us a competitive advantage when we're out there trying to win business.
And it's like within mergers and acquisitions and so forth that derives from, is that that seems to be a big portion of your business, that it ends up you guys are, sort of facilitating these transactions, right? It's like,
It is. Yeah, it's about 60% plus of our annual revenues come from
okay.
helping people sell businesses, but we also help people buy companies as well.
And I think I read something where you've done over like 145 or something like that over the course of maybe a
Yeah,
decade.
we've
Yeah,
actually, it's a
yeah.
little outdated, but yeah, we've done about, I think, 155, 160 transactions now. It's been great, been
And
exciting,
growing.
and and growing. Has its ups and downs, but it's definitely is exciting.
Oh, I would imagine. So, so as far as like, how do you engage with them? As far as like, do they find you, or how do you?
Yeah, so I do a lot of the speaking, right?
Right.
Podcasts, webinars to keep our name and our firm out there. But a lot of it's hand-to-hand combat, Alan. Like I don't know, I think you may have sold a business before. It's
Yeah.
when you're selling somebody's business, you're not just going to hire somebody off the street that you don't really know well to do it. It's your bloodline. So a lot of our sales cycle is very long. I may meet somebody tomorrow. It may not be till 3, 5 years down the line that we actually engage with them to do
Yeah.
something. So it's very much relationship based. I sometimes joke with my team. I was like, I wish I could clone myself or AI me or make myself a robot, but where it could do some of the marketing, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't work that way.
Do you find that because you have different stages of your relationship, right, with your clients and so forth, where even if they don't actually do a sale of a business or whatever, or it's 5 years later, in between all that, you're engaging in different ways because you guys offer a lot of different services.
Alan, that's the name of the game. We're
Yeah,
planting little seeds along the way. So a lot of our clients are people that we meet. They're hiring us to do valuation work, exit preparation to get them ready for a sale, helping them with market research or helping with their growth plans to get them ready for the transaction. So we like that because it gives us little bits of revenue along the way before we get to the end result on the transaction side, which is where the liquidity event is where we really make our money.
yeah. But
As a
having
lot of
having those touch points and stuff, it's like you're also developing that, the trust, the understanding of your capabilities and so forth, and it kind of sort of goes hand in hand to lead that down that direction.
Yeah,
So it's like a
exactly. Alan, during I give a good analogy, like during COVID, right? Our world, like everyone's did, shifted into Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. And
yeah,
for us, we had to do that, right? Like we were selling companies over Zoom and developing relationships that way. But thankfully, we got out of the pandemics, with the
yeah,
rest of the world. And when that did, it really kind of brought to light how important face-to-face human interaction is for what we do,
yeah,
which is why I'm on a plane a lot and our team is
yeah,
on a plane a lot because you got to get that relationship established to build the trust and the transparency around what you're going to be doing for them to help
yeah,
complete a transaction.
yeah. Because these are, some of the biggest investments people have in their, in their assets that they have and so forth. So they want to make sure that they get the right representation and so forth.
Right. So from an outreach perspective, I think you asked the question of like, well, how do you do it? So we speak at the conferences, go to the trade shows, visit cities, towns, places that most people don't go to to
Yeah.
meet with these owners on their turf, get to know them, go to their operations, break bread, get a drink, have dinner, lunch, and that's how the relationships are built
Yeah.
over a long period of time.
That's great. Is the U.S. I believe it's your primary market.
It is, but we do a lot of work up in Canada,
Okay.
in Europe, South America, but most of our work, I would say 80% of it's done in the U.S.
I see.
But we're
Okay.
working to change that, but it takes time, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Are you looking to, is there a particular market area that you're thinking, wow, is Canada a good environment for you guys, or is it?
Yeah, Canada works. It's close to home. But we have clients everywhere. South Africa is a big area, Australia.
Mhm.
But in our business, it's hard to scale what we do without having people that are relationship based in those countries. So at one point, we've toyed around with the concept of hiring people in those countries that we do a lot of work in as a way to expand our revenue.
Mhm.
But you got to find the right person, right?
Right.
And the right person that fits your culture, your team dynamic, with where they're at in life to see if they would fit the bill. But it's certainly on the roadmap for CIS.
Well, that sounds really interesting. Um, as far as like, where do you see, like you're talking about growth and expansion and stuff within your organization? Do you have kind of a roadmap that you're thinking about in the next year or two?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's more about expanding on the technology side. So a
Okay.
lot of our clients have been more service-based businesses. So in the past 5 years, we've shifted into more tech-oriented companies, so SaaS, data and analytics, and now AI companies.
Yep.
So we're working to kind of move with the market too. But we still want to stick to our end markets. We're not going to be the guy that takes a referral from somebody that says, sell my oil and gas company. I don't know anything about oil and gas, and nor do I want to, frankly. But we would refer that to other people in our network that have that expertise. So it's kind of more stick to our knitting, but grow in our end markets that we're in and expand that
Okay.
way.
And as far as you're talking about embracing technology and so forth, are you changing the way you're analyzing things or supporting your clients? And
AI, man,
yeah.
every one of our team members has access to Claude and
Yes.
ChatGPT in order to do their job faster and more efficiently. I look at AI, and I don't know if you agree with this, as a tool. I think it's an
Yes.
amazing tool, and if I can use that tool to do things faster, more profitably, and make our work with our clients easier, who wouldn't try to do that every day of the week? I don't think we're at the stage yet, at least in our industry. AI is simply going to take over everything that we're doing. I think
Hmm.
maybe over time it could get there, but I still think there's such a significant human element to what
Yes.
our business is and what it is, and the generation of people that we're selling businesses for are usually between 55 and 75. That's where most of the
Yeah.
owners are. And so they're also they've grown up in a business where they're used to talking to human beings.
Yeah.
They're used to breaking bread over lunch and dinner. They're not used to just talking over text or email or just to a robot. Not to
Hmm.
say that there aren't parts of the workflow that can't be handled with AI. It can. It just needs to be handled in the right way. And I think that's what we're all trying to figure out.
Is balancing, yeah, the human element with AI development and so forth. So
Correct.
no, that's great. And as far as do you find that as far as competition goes, that do you have competition? I guess that's probably the first.
Oh man, we do. We definitely
I
do.
imagine.
So there are larger, Wall Street, New York is filled with our competition. A
Yeah.
lot of them tend to work on larger transactions, which is good for us. So they kind of stay up in their wheelhouse. But a lot of those larger firms have been challenged with where interest rates are, where the financial markets are, and so they're moving downstream. So we're seeing bigger investment banks coming into our end markets, which ain't easy sometimes,
Oh,
right?
that sounds a little
But
frustrating, I would
but
think.
but just like anything else,
Yeah.
um, I view competition as worthwhile. We live in the United States for a reason. It's where competition is part of it. So we're all for competing. I think the way we differentiate is our specialty areas and our
Yeah.
knowledge base. I think that's a big reason why we get retained versus some of the larger firms.
I would imagine because it seems like you've established yourselves as sort of industry leaders in the particular sector that you're working in, and like you said, you're traveling all the time. You're speaking at events and so forth. They see you as an expert in the field, and I imagine your staff is your colleagues and things are
Yeah, we've
capable.
built a team and a culture that they're capable of really getting into the weeds on a particular business or a business model. A lot of the feedback we get when we hear, why did you hire a larger firm or another firm? A lot of time it's because there's a brand name associated with them. Like you ever hear the line, you don't get shot for hiring IBM, right? You end up
Yeah,
going
yeah.
with the big
The
name that's been
safe, it's
around
safe.
for 100 years and it's
Yeah,
safer.
yeah,
And so we get that from time to time, but I think usually that's generally one of the key reasons why we're not hired.
yeah,
But you kind of roll with it, man, just like anything
yeah.
else.
What's your like roughly your percentage at the moment, like that you when you engage and so forth, do you feel like you close like
I would
you're
say, yeah, I mean, we're probably 90% plus.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really, like, I hate losing. I'm a competitor just like everybody else. I like playing
Yeah.
basketball when my back isn't killing me. I enjoy the sport of the competition.
Yeah.
It's never fun to lose, but what I try to do is a lot of people have told me over the years is learn from it. And then it sounds cliche, but we really take that seriously when we lose.
Yeah. No, it's like you don't just move on, you kind of analyze, okay, well
What'd you
what
say? What'd you write? What'd you put in the deck? Did you not meet with the right people? What did you do to not make it to the next
yeah,
round? So we're always asking
and how
all
to
those
turn
types
it
of questions.
around moving forward. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah, and yeah, as far as like within the business, do you do other things outside the business that sort of support this also? Like, are you? I would imagine.
I'm on boards of some of the trade associations, so I do a lot of that. I've got 3 young kids, man, so I'm constantly dealing
That's
with them. They're 13, 10, and 5. So my second career is Uber driving my children. I've gotten pretty good at it.
I bet you have.
I take direction pretty well when they ask me to go to their friend's house or to a
Yeah,
sporting event. So that's my other passion is
yeah.
driving my children.
So you have a pretty full balanced life, I would imagine, for the most part. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems I know you're busy and working hard, but it seems that you've structured it in a way that works well for you and so forth.
Like anything, it's
Yeah,
you live and you learn. You try to figure out what works and what doesn't. But the hardest part about the job and the in our profession is the travel. I don't think
yeah.
you'll ever talk to an M&A guy that says, "Man, I just love the flying all over the country." It weighs on you.
Especially when you have family and children, it makes it even hard. You don't want to miss events and things that they're going
Yeah,
through.
when you're in your 20s and you don't have kids and you have a life to support, it's just a different feeling than
Yes.
when you have to get on the plane and you're going to miss your kid's recital or soccer
Yeah.
game and or whatever it is. You want to do it all. I'd love to be able to do it all, but it's
It's
very
impossible.
difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. So as far as like, where do you see yourselves like yourself in 5, 10 years? Do you want to just keep plugging away at this, or you?
No, I mean, here's what I would love. I just keep trying to develop my team. I've got
Okay.
a great team of people that work with me
Hmm.
and with my business partner. They're great, love them. I would love to eventually groom them up so they can start taking on some more of the sales and marketing and the origination functions. But
Yeah.
it takes time. It just takes time because I remember when I was young, you just don't magically develop a network and relationships. It takes years.
Yeah.
And but I'm trying every day,
No,
trying
that
to
makes
build them.
sense.
That's the key for me.
So you have a core team like that are maybe some are at different levels, maybe more years of experience type thing,
Yep.
and typically are they handling the same sort of areas that you are in terms of
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are more around execution of a transaction.
okay.
When we're selling a company, we have a whole team of people that we bring in as it relates to that particular workflow or deal that we're working on. And they
Hmm.
handle different parts of it, whether it's putting the marketing materials together, interfacing with the buyer prospects, the due diligence components to it.
Yeah.
They all play a role, and some
Yeah.
have strength, like any human, right?
Yeah.
Some people have strengths and weaknesses in terms of their interaction with clients and prospects, and so we try to develop them and try to get them in front of things, go send them to conferences, trade shows, to try to help them get to the next level too.
Do you hire people out of school, or do you like to have a little bit of work experience with
Yeah, a
them?
lot of them come out of undergrad, and we also have relied heavily on some of the universities in Philadelphia where they'll start out with us as interns and then
Yeah.
graduate into full-time employment. We love that. That's our testing ground. So we end up using that internship program or co-op program as a way to get to
Find the
source
right people.
talent.
Yeah. That's great. And so I could see for, like being a business owner and so forth, it's like having that sort of succession plan, how to grow it in a way that either gives you more free time or
Right.
eventually positions you to, sell your business if you want.
Yeah, we get approached from
You
time
seem
to
pretty
time
young
to yeah,
to,
we get approached from time to time, Alan, to sell our firm and
yeah,
merge in with other larger firms. It's hard because I worked at another firm for 10 years, and it was a great experience and I learned a lot, but I also learned a lot about what not to do. And I struggle with that, with the culture and the team that we've built and what happens when it's merged with
yeah.
something else. Um, but like anything else, I'm a capitalist, so if
It's the
somebody
right
shows
opportunity.
up with the right bag of money, I'll talk to them about it. But I don't see that in my cards over the next. I'm 46. I've got 10 years plus to go
Well, yeah,
or
yeah,
more.
yeah. No, that's great. I think you're doing well, and it just seems like it's like I think your idea of like grooming and sort of bringing up your talent and so forth makes the most sense,
Yeah,
um, to take it to that next level and hopefully to free up your time a bit.
yeah, that would be the idea. It just, but you got to. I find when I talk, like I'm in a couple of CEO founder groups,
Yeah,
and we're all busy, right?
yeah,
Alan, you're busy, right? Everyone's busy. So you've got to really budget the time to develop your team. You can't just hope that you're going to do it every week or every month or year. You actually have to put the time in to figure it out. And I'll
yeah,
tell you, I struggle with it. I do, and
yeah,
but it's usually on my to-do list, on my checklist to kind of work through it.
yeah,
And I try in different ways to make that happen.
yeah. That would have you ever like as far as like like when you go in a speaking conference or something like that, is maybe bringing one of your up and coming.
Yeah, yeah, we do, Alan, and also
Okay.
I do that, but I also the other thing is in the transaction world, a lot of times, a lot of the folks that come up in investment banking, they want experience, they want to interact with the owner. Well, we
Yeah.
let them do it. We let
No,
them
that's
do it,
great.
and we let them do it on a variety of levels too. And the reason we do that is because if they don't get that experience, they don't learn and they don't know how to communicate and they don't know what to say and what not to say. And sometimes it's not always ideal. People screw up. We're humans. But if they don't learn, then they can't get better and they can't learn from their mistakes. So it's just kind of part of it. So we try to get them involved as much as humanly possible in
Mhm.
all aspects of the origination, but also of the execution on the transaction as well.
I mean, it seems like you run a company in a way that it's like you've created a team that works well together and so forth. Did you have any sort of like background in terms of building a company in certain, or did you
No,
just kind of?
I'll tell you what triggered me. I
Yeah,
don't. I didn't have a background on HR management or anything like
yeah,
that. But what I learned from my prior firm was what not to do. Because I always think about, and I don't know if you did this with your businesses, but you always think about when you communicate to them, your staff and your team, what your reaction would have been if you were sitting in their seats
mm, yeah,
and how you would feel. And what does that make you feel? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Um, so I always think about that because I was in their seat. I was in
yeah,
the seat, each level. It wasn't like I'm just showed up one day and ran the business. It led to something. So I feel like that's critical for any
yeah,
business. Frankly, it doesn't matter what you do. You've got to know what it feels like to be in their shoes,
yeah.
and what reactions come from what you say and what you do.
Yeah, and it's amazing what we learn from what doesn't work. Like it's sometimes the best teacher is watching a company that is dysfunctional, isn't working, collectively
Yes,
as a group, and there's
and
infighting.
I think too, Alan.
Yeah,
I think people sometimes. I know that I'm not perfect. I know
yeah,
our team isn't perfect, and I think that's a big thing to realize. Like you got to know that no one's going to get it completely right. We're all human and we all make mistakes, but you try. You
yeah,
try to do it. You try to make the right strides, so you get to a positive outcome.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, is there any advice you'd give to someone that is like, maybe coming out of their undergrad and are thinking, wow, I'm really interested in investment banking or something like that? Would
Yeah, I would tell you, and I talk to a lot of because we get resumes of college kids, MBAs, executives. And I try to talk to as many as I can in different ways just to kind of offer some advice because there's a few people that gave me some really critical advice early on. And I would tell you in the world of technology that we're in, I feel like the communication and the humanities and the ability to interact with other people is going to become a significant part of whether people are hired or retained as a part of a position. And I don't care what industry it's in, because
Mhm.
the more the people can actually interact, the better that they're going to be at their job in leveraging the AI tools to do what they need to do. Because AI is not human.
Yeah,
It can't do everything that you and I do. And I think the people that are there in that role are going to need to know how to do that. And a lot of people coming out of college right now, they're not seeing it that way. They're hoping that AI is going to remove the communication component. I think it's going to make it even more essential. And so
and more
in these
valuable. Yeah,
and more valuable. And these universities are going to need to teach that
mm.
and do a better job of really helping these students interact with each other versus just sitting on their phone, staring at their phone all day long.
That's brilliant advice. I think it's like spot on as far as like it's this is going to be a commodity that is valued highly because it's going to become less and less available as it's like unfortunately for the kids growing up and stuff like that, they're just exposed to so much, time on their phones, their computers, their apps, the AI. I mean, now they're growing up with AI, which is kind of crazy in a way. I just, that and how do they prevent, when students are, with the AI, who wrote the report, right? It's just, it's kind of like, how do they distinguish it?
All of that, all of
Yeah.
it. And so anyway, that's what I'd push people
Well,
to
thank
do.
you. No, I appreciate that. So as far as like, just in terms of like what you'd like to kind of leave this conversation with, as far as, is there anything that we haven't touched on or something that you wouldn't mind bringing up, or talk more about what, your
No,
company's
it's
about? Or,
I feel like we're in a weird spot, from an economy perspective and where this world is going to go. Are we going to end up in a deeper world war globally, or more issues here at home with our own financial health? And I urge people to really keep an open mind, right? It's very easy in today's world to just go completely to the end of the spectrum, which is everything's going to be awful and bad. So I try to kind of stay where I can in the middle sometimes, to kind
Mhm.
of be able to weigh all sides of where the market's going. And I urge people to try to do some of the same sometimes, versus just ending at one end of the spectrum, the other. There's a whole space in the middle too.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. I mean, that'd be great for sort of our situation with our political system, our voting, or the ways different
Yeah.
parts of like the U.S. I mean, it's such a divided country, and it would be better if people would be a little more open minded
And
and
when I
consider.
travel, I see it. I see how divided our country really is, and it bums me out, because Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. We're all here trying to function and do what
Yeah.
we're supposed to do, domestically and globally. And I think a lot of times the political environment divides us so significantly that
Mhm.
we get wrapped up into it too much as a society, versus looking at it more broadly where we can.
Yeah. Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure having you as a guest. It's
Yeah,
very interesting. I really appreciate it. Look forward to, hopefully having a future conversation down the road.
love
But
it, Alan. Yeah, I would
thank, thank you
love to
for being
continue the
on.
dialogue.
Sounds great. All right. Have a good one. Take care.